This house used to be a dump, and I bought it off market for $565,000. I'm a fix and flipper here in Boise. Over the last 6 months, we've been working on this house tirelessly to make sure we can get it done for this springtime market. We're gonna see if we can sell it in the next couple weeks for $1.4 million. As you guys can tell, this isn't the first day that we've been working on this project. We've actually been working on this project since July this last summer. And today it's March 17th. We've had a lot go wrong on this project. And you'll see in the rest of this video that from beginning to end, we really seemingly haven't known what the heck we're doing the whole time. So I want you guys to sit back and watch this video with the eye knowing that we did most things wrong, but you can learn from our mistakes and hopefully make a ton of money if you're trying to do this yourself. Hey guys, we're at our most active flip. This is 2287 South Toluca here in Boise. We're in a neighborhood called the Mesa. It's an older neighborhood, but it has really high values. So we picked this house up a couple months ago for $565,000. Average per square foot costs in this area is going like 400 to 500 per square foot. We picked this one up at like 220. What we're gonna try to do is elevate the value all the way up to like 1.4 million bucks, which is huge renovation project. We've gone all the way down to the studs. So I want to bring you guys along, show you what we got going today, but also just let you know how we're making decisions, why we're making decisions, so that way we can actually get up to that 1.4 million dollar valuation, hopefully sell this sucker and make 350 or 400 grand. We're planning on making this a fire pit down here, which will be super cool. We have neighbors here obviously on the flip, and this neighbor in particular was frustrated with us because whenever we were digging out for those stairs over there, we lost a rock that she had underneath her fence, and that rock sort of held up the fence, but it also blocked her dog from being able to like dig under the fence. And so we talked with her about it, and of course we want to accommodate and make sure that we're not getting called into the city, you know, or just like people being mad at us or whatever. So we saved the rock, but we have some crew here that doesn't speak English, and so we're trying to communicate that we need to save the rock and that sort of thing, but the rock is missing. It's not here any longer. Do you know, John, if they saved that rock, or do you think they scraped it up?
I think they might have hauled it off.
In there? But is that what he's doing, just getting rid of that pile?
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of the same with this back fence. Like you can see, it's all terrible, and there's holes in it. And so we've had to talk with the neighbors about making sure we're going to fix that in due time, and you know, just keeping everybody safe with their dogs and that sort of thing. So it's funny what kind of things you come across when you do projects like this. Like you think you're gonna have to deal with electrical and plumbing and that sort of thing, but you're also doing like some counseling for the neighbors. There's a lot of statistics and information about how curb appeal is one of the highest ROI things you can do for a house. That's paint, that's landscape. This house in particular had a gable entry on it. Now it wasn't, you know, it was probably like 1/8 of the size of this one. We tore that down, spent $2,450 on a framer and material to get this reframed this way. There was a ton of bushes right here in the middle. You couldn't see the house. There were 3 giant juniper trees on that side and 2 giant spruce on that side of the house. And so this thing had tons of vegetation, but it was ugly and it was just huge and in the way, and you couldn't see the house at all. So since we removed all of this landscaping, got rid of all the crap that was covering up the house, now people can actually see the house. We added the gable. This house is gonna look a lot more grand. So when people actually come down the street and they're thinking about, wow, how does this house look from the street? That curb appeal is gonna increase the value something like 21%. There's actually statistics about curb appeal and kitchen remodels and bathroom remodels being the highest ROI things you can do on any home renovation project. So me as a flipper, I want to figure out what are my highest ROI activities, and curb appeal's the number one thing you can do on any flip. It's really nice to get all the guys together sometimes and just talk about standards, talk about why we're doing things the way we're doing them, you know, cleaning up the road, making sure we're nice to neighbors, being considerate, that sort of thing. I have 3 boys, and I have a legacy that I want to leave to them. Little things like sweeping, cleaning up, being respectful, that sort of thing. Those are the little things that people notice, and they increase our upside. I'm trying to build a team. This is important, not a family, because a family you're attached to, but a team you can cut players. Whatever we can do to increase our upside potential, we're going to do it. Focusing on upside potential brings longevity. I mean, we're called overnight homes. It's kind of anal and detail oriented and all that stuff. But I think if you guys can think about your kids, think about where you are trying to go. But that's all. I appreciate you guys, and you guys are doing awesome work. I also used to live in Mexico, so I can understand. We're also really focusing on the kind of quality that we're putting in here. So I'm not on site every single day, but I'm here about 95% of the time. My project manager is here every single day. You guys probably saw him around, Chris. It's nice to get boots on the ground almost every day, come see how the project is going, making sure it's going the direction you want it to go. And that way you can just keep tabs on how profitable you're gonna be at the end. If you're coming across problems quickly and you can make decisions quickly, you're gonna shorten that timeline significantly versus not coming to visit and not seeing it and having problems grow and grow and grow until eventually you have to spend an extra month on the project, and that costs you hard money, that costs you points, that costs you interest, you know, that you're paying. So that's where we are today on the flip project. We're gonna get concrete poured in the front here a little bit later. The guys are framing up the rest of the house so that way we can be done with framing finally. This next week we're gonna get the roof finished. HVAC, electrical, and plumbing are gonna be finished next week, and then we can finally get in there and start putting in drywall. So our project up in the East End in Boise, we need a geological engineer to go up there. I guess over the past month, there's been some homes up there, brand new builds that are sloughing off the hill, which obviously that's bad. They're drilling pylons super deep into the ground, a concrete pylon, you know, to support the house, but that's not working. The engineers at the city or sorry, not the engineers at the city, but the inspectors are working with engineers to try to figure out exactly what we need to do to move forward up on the hill. Not just with my project, but with everybody's project, because the whole hill now is being required to, even if you're pouring a little concrete pad for a condenser unit for your air conditioner, you need a permit. They want soil tests now. So, and that's literally just happened over the past month while we're in the middle of our build out on that flip up on Toluca. So it's something that we have to deal with, unfortunately. So fortunately we're dried in, but we haven't been doing anything on that project for about 2 weeks. So we're past Christmas finally. We were supposed to have this done before Christmas. Hopefully we can push this through to the finish line pretty quick after we get this permit and get this thing sold. Hey, Chris, what's up, man?
Bored out of my mind.
No, don't say that.
Talking with geoengineers all morning. It's boring.
Well, what'd the geoengineers say?
They all said the same thing, that they're confused, that they need a site assessment for a deck.
And then
site assessment isn't cheap. It's $4 to $6 grand plus.
$6 grand?
That's why I said it's not common, because it's usually for an addition or a new construction.
Oh my gosh. So can we get a letter from one of them that says this is not needed?
I mean, basically that's what I gave. You know, it's not new construction, it's replacing a deck that was there and it's fine for many years. It's not like we're like building on top of new soil. It's like this thing's been here for a long time.
Yeah.
We'll see what he says.
Did you just submit that to him this morning?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, this deck is the problem.
Yep.
Stupid freaking deck. There's never an easy solution, because at this point the cities cost us, you know, close to $5 grand in just hard costs because of the hard money that we're getting from the lender. But obviously, you know, delaying the project 4 to 6 weeks is not good either.
Yeah.
You know, I will say that with a caveat. Usually things like this are a blessing in disguise. You never know. We could be getting Trump in office here in a few weeks, and then the economy just goes berserky.
I love your positive mindset.
You never know, dude.
Meanwhile, I'm thinking of ways of paying like a homeless person to go burn the house down.
Ooh, look at that. It's a nice new fence. It's $2,800 right there. I actually have a pretty funny story. Whenever we first got here, that fence was just total crap. But a section over here between those trees fell down, and then it was right before the election. And so, you know how people have yard signs of like who they're voting for? Right in the hole of that fence, they put a Biden-Harris sign, so that way we could see it when we were here working, which is just totally ridiculous. They're for your front yard, but they wanted to make sure we knew who they were voting for. Thought that was pretty funny. Look at that. It even smells good, dude. Ah, it smells good. That's fresh.
That's super nice. We got this fence done for $2,800. They even used the thicker, if you look at this, they use the really thick pickets, which is amazing. So this won't warp or deform too much. This isn't sealed or anything. This is just raw. We might seal it. Sealing it would protect it against like sun and that sort of thing. If there are sprinklers that run back here and hit it, sealing it would really help to make sure that it doesn't stain and warp. We are back finally at the Toluca flip up here in East Boise. You can see behind me the guys are putting up the Tyvek wrap. This is something that we've held off on for a super long time. It's because right here in the back of the house there's supposed to be a really big deck, and the deck needs engineering. That's fine, except we're on the hillside, and in Boise on the hillside district there's a special plan reviewer down at the city, and that plan reviewer has been giving us the runaround. So we've had to go back and forth a bunch of times to figure out, are we gonna need an engineered soil test? Are we gonna need just engineered plans? Are we just gonna need an engineer approval? We finally figured out for the permit process, because we've been digging through it so much, that the Tyvek and the sheeting is not actually on our permit. So for the city, they don't need to come out and inspect this part of the flip. We just need to Tyvek it, and then we're going to do stucco for siding. And then once the stucco's on, that's whenever they come out to inspect. So unfortunately, we could have done better. We could have known better about not having to get this part inspected, but it's okay. We're wrapping it now. We've been sitting here for about a month without it wrapped, which is unfortunate, but you know, at this point, it kind of is what it is. And hopefully this Friday, we're gonna be putting on the stucco. So that's the current progress with the outside of the Toluca flip. If that's the case, then it's definitely too close. You guys gonna go measure that?
Yes, sir.
You should go with him.
You know that house that he's on?
Dude, I nailed it. 90. Damn, son. 90? You're at like 90 and a half feet. Right there?
17 feet?
18.
17.4, so we don't have to tear the porch down. Porch stays, Carter.
Early this morning, Chris got an email from the city saying that our new porch had to be 15 feet away from the city line. We had to drive all the way out here just to make sure that it was there. We're at 17, almost 18 feet to the sidewalk. Plenty of room. Had we been under the 15 feet, we would have to cut this deck back. New porch. Call Tony back in.
We'll be exactly 15 feet.
Will be exactly 15 feet. Thank goodness Charlie was here with his tape measure. What a wonderful day, not having to demo this out again.
Oh, I think 80 inches.
80 inches?
This is a newspaper article that we found inside the wall. Price of tri-tip was like $1 something for a big piece of tri-tip. Right now we're trying to dig the footings to get inspection for the geo guy to come out.
It's so stupid. Well, we just got notified that our city inspectors are yet again making our life a living hell. We have to cut off the corners of our front porch because the inspector didn't get to see us pour them, so he didn't see the footers and he didn't see the rebar enforcement. Because he didn't watch us put it together, he doesn't know what's behind it. So now we have to cut it off, dig the hole again, put the rebar again, and then re-pour the corners. I'm just super bummed about that. So the guys are there actually demoing the front porch right now.
Not coming down to shoot.
Ever out of water?
Yep.
How much water did you put in it?
All of it. That's still dry.
Yeah, that load ain't no good. I wouldn't even accept it. Yeah, we're gonna have to send that back because I mean, we just got here.
Hey, no smoking here, brother.
Oh yeah?
Yes, sir.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. It's been a long time coming because we had super delays with the permits at the city, but we're finally pouring the pad back here. We have been waiting on permits specifically from the city on our engineered deck. The deck on the back of the house, we just pull it off and we're replacing it almost the same as it was before, but we're in a hillside district, and the hillside district requires special engineering from a geo engineer, someone that can look at the soil and make sure that we're not gonna fall off the side of the hill. So that's what we've been waiting for like 4 weeks now, but we're finally back. We've had a lot happen over the last week. Right now, the guys are pouring concrete. We have our overnight crew inside doing insulation, which is great because we finally got all of our green tags from the permits, which is great. So we got plumbing, HVAC, and electrical approved for cover. That's why they're able to do insulation today. We're just trying to make it through this flip. We were supposed to be done back in November, and as it stands today, it's January 28th. So it just is what it is. We're learning some expensive lessons here, but you know, we're rolling with the punches. Fortunately, also, I was telling the guys this yesterday, this is a house that we have a lot of margin on, so we can learn these lessons. If you learn these lessons on a house that has 0 to no margin, you're just gonna be losing money and you're gonna be in a bad spot and you won't be able to do business again. So to that point, it's really important to underwrite your deals well, make sure that you have a proper model whenever you're trying to do a flip. Something that's interesting about the concrete is this morning it was 14 degrees, first of all. So the kind of concrete that they're pouring is normal concrete, but the mixture is a little bit different. They want it to set really fast because it's gonna get freezing cold tonight. Yes, we have blankets and cover tarps for this, but we still want it to set pretty fast. When they mix it super dry, it sets fast. And this is kind of funny, whenever you mix concrete very wet, it also sets really quickly. The problem is either one of those, it's pretty hard to deal with. If it's too hard, you like can't finish the concrete. If it's too wet, it's too sloppy and it's very difficult to get a good solid finish. Unfortunately, the concrete trucks showed up late, and we also had really hard concrete in there in the first place. And then the extra water tank sitting on top of the truck ran out of water. Fortunately, we did a kitchen remodel right across the street from Toluca a couple months ago, and I know the neighbor across the street, so I gave him a call real quick and I said, hey Ryan, can I bum some water off your house? He said, no problem. So we were able to get some water for the concrete truck. They started diluting their mixture and now they're mixing it again and they're finally pouring. So hopefully it's not too wet that it's really difficult to work with for the guys, but we're finally back at pouring the concrete. But this right here is a concrete pad that we're pouring for the air conditioner. The air conditioner that's gonna sit outside right here, you can see my line set coming out of the house. I really dislike it whenever they don't have a concrete pad. And the reason is, if you imagine landscaping, imagine a developed and mature landscape here where there's grass and there might be some shrubs and that sort of thing. If you don't have a concrete pad and you just have one of those flimsy little plastic foam things that usually comes with those units, there's gonna be all kinds of grass and weeds and things growing up underneath your air conditioner unit. And then you're gonna have to weed eat around it, or you're gonna have to try to figure out some way to clear all of that foliage, when in the first place, while you're pouring, you might as well just do a nice concrete pad. You can keep it clean. That way there's nothing like growing around your unit. And then whenever it comes time in the spring to do your annual maintenance on it, it's super, super easy. So this is just a little detail that I love putting in houses and flips that makes me feel like someone would appreciate this work. That is some hard work, dude. He said, yeah. I'm standing in the basement at Toluca, and I wanted to talk with you guys about the major lessons I've learned on this flip. When I say major, I mean like they've cost me a lot of money. Probably the biggest one is outside, and I'll talk about that here in a second, but one that was huge here on the inside, you can see, and as you're seeing in this video now, we took this down to nothing. I mean, this was studs. We took all the electrical, all the plumbing, all the HVAC completely out of this place, all the drywall, all the insulation. This is gonna be a brand new house whenever we're done. We did not know this was gonna be a brand new house whenever we started. In fact, if we knew we were gonna go this deep when we started, me and my project manager sort of joked, but we're not joking, that we would have just bulldozed the house and built a brand new one here if we knew how deep we were gonna go. We probably wasted somewhere in the realm of like 9 to 12 weeks just going through the process of continuing to dig and demo and fix and dig and demo and fix and dig and demo and fix, until finally we got to a point where it's like, you know what? This is gonna be a brand new house. We just need to tear everything out and it's gonna be brand new. Now, that time span itself didn't cost me a lot of money, but what did cost me money was the interest on my hard money loan that I have for this project. Not only that, that loan ran out of time because it was on a timeline, right? And I had to go get another loan to refinance the other one out. And that cost me about $20,000 itself. And so refinancing into this newer loan, because I had to extend the timeline so long, the original lender wasn't willing to do that. I spent all that time on the demo and on the labor, not knowing that we were gonna go this deep. That cost me a lot of money in the long run. Hopefully that helps you guys. I'm trying to document this stuff so that way, number one, I can learn from my mistakes. But number two, if you guys like this channel and you like watching this content and you're trying to flip or you're trying to be a real estate investor, these are some of the things that hopefully you can think about as you're going through projects. Save yourself some money and save yourself some time. Another huge lesson I learned on this flip is we didn't ask all the right questions up front when it comes to permits. And when I say ask the right questions, you can do your own research and you can try to go to the permit desk and ask them for the list of requirements. But what would be more helpful is to have a list of changes you're making on the house and then ask the people at the permit desk in your city or town or whatever to give you all of the requirements for those changes. And the reason I say that is in our backyard here on this flip, we are pouring new concrete footings for a deck. The deck is not substantially different than what was here before, but it's 45 years newer. There's new code that we have to adhere to, okay? That new code specifies that we have to have engineered footings. And not only do we have to have engineered footings, we have to have a geo-engineer to inspect the footings and the soil around the footings because we're in the hillside district. We didn't know that. We didn't get that indication from anybody until it was time to pour the concrete. Then we got the stop work from the city that says you can't pour until you get this all engineered. The problem with that is we could have had this all handled before we even got to the concrete. but we didn't know about it. And then we got to that point, and then we had to start the work. The unfortunate part is I already had a loan. I'm already paying people to work for me. And now I had a 6-week time frame where I didn't even get to pour concrete or work on the property substantially because that was the holdup. We didn't have the engineering. We didn't have the permit to be able to push through the city and go ahead and get that poured. Not only did we not ask about the concrete, we're in a district in my area, we call it WUI. WUI is a wildland firefighting agency, and that agency is controlling this area and part of the building code here in this area where I'm building. And for a good reason, right? Like it's January 2025. We all just saw what happened in Pacific Palisades whenever you have old houses and just generally bad building codes. So that's what they're trying to do with this fire code here in Boise. But we didn't know exactly what the requirements were for the fire code, and we didn't ask, unfortunately. This again, I'm documenting this stuff because it was painful to me. Not only painful because it's delaying my income, but it's also painful because it's increasing the amount that I'm paying out on this project. Part of that WUI fire code is that if you change a little bit of the siding, you have to change all of the siding. Okay, check, we're doing that. We're getting all the siding done. But the eaves on the house, the soffits cannot be vented. If they are vented, they have to be fire approved, and the soffits have to be a fire rated 2-hour material. A 2-hour material for a fire rating is a lot, number one. Number two, it's a totally different building assembly than just the regular soffit, like a hardy backer or a hardy board or something like that. Again, we found out after we've been here, after we put the soffit up, after we painted. And so now what we're gonna have to do is we're either gonna have to take the soffit down, which is gonna be demo and labor and wasted material, or we're gonna have to cover it up and figure out another solution for our fascia board, because our fascia board doesn't have enough reveal to allow us just to stick another piece of material up underneath it, unfortunately. So those are a couple of the big lessons I've learned so far. Something that's silly but funny is the concrete guy's name is Jonathan, but one of our crew members, Charlie, he calls him Tony. And so we started calling him Tony, like in our group text and stuff. Well, some good news, just in general, is we're under contract on a new property, so we can go buy a property. It's 2 acres here in Eagle, and then we can demo the house completely and build a brand new house. So that's exciting. I'm sure we're gonna learn a lot more lessons on that too. And I'll share with you guys all the money that I lose on that project too.
Is it pretty rough or is it in good shape?
The house is rough, so we're just gonna rip it down completely. We're gonna build a brand new house. The whole house is coming down, yeah. So we're gonna build a $3 million house. Well, it's gonna be about 2.8 million bucks. So we should make somewhere north of 500,000 on it. So hopefully we can do it in about 8 months. I also hope we can do 3 or 4 more of those, so that would be exciting. That's tough work, man. It's gonna be so hard on your hamstrings. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you got some value out of that. We got a lot going on this week, and then we got a lot going on in the next couple weeks because we are this close to the finish line on this project. Hope you guys come back and subscribe so that way you can see the next video where hopefully we have this whole house finished and sold, and then we can go through all the numbers and show you guys how much we profited, what kind of mistakes we made, how much we should have profited because of the mistakes. So I hope you guys subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.